Hey, welcome back to CNS for Finishing and Upholstery with Alexander. Just want to say real quick a big shout out to the men and women of this country that serves this country. Hope everyone's having a blessed Memorial Day. Big thank you from CNS family to you guys. Second thing we're going to discuss is how to repair cabinet doors. Okay, so everyone's going to run into this issue once or twice in their life. This one gentleman unfortunately had the door open, kind of fell into it, snapped it right off. So not uncommon whatsoever from being rough and rowdy with the cabinets, from slamming the cabinets, from children, from rental properties. They're all issues. So first thing we're going to do and look for is if there's any old glue. So you want to make sure there's any old glue. You want to make sure that's all cleaned off, scraped off, so you have a nice wood-to-wood contact. When that wood-to-wood contact, you'll never have it break at that same joint or place again. It always breaks somewhere else if you have that wood-to-wood contact. I see a lot of people that try to glue over old glue, and all that does is doesn't allow the wood glue to bind and grab those fibers. All it does is puts that old glue on top of that old glue and then breaks it right again. So like I said, your wood-to-wood contact is your best contact. So once you see that there is no old glue, this is a nice clean break, we can focus on splinting. Splinters that need to be glued down to have a nice solid base. So you want to take a brush, kind of line it in there. You don't have to cake it on there, take the whole bottle. Don't need to do all that. Put the Gorilla Glue away. You want to grab a water solvent glue. That way that water evaporates. You're left with a nice hard solid solvent that binds that wood together. So that right there, keep a nice damp rag with you. Kind of clean that old glue, the excess glue, excuse me, off, and keeping that channel nice and clean. So this channel has to stay clean. Why? Because this is a free floating panel. If this channel is glued and this is glued shut, the wood will have nowhere to expand and contract. So that means it's going to do it anyways. So it's going to leave you a big old crack because it's not going to move once you glue it. So keep that free panel freestanding. Glue your edges here. Maybe put a nail in it if you need to, and that's going to be it for that. Next video, we're going to show you how to glue it properly as far as flat. So when you put it on your base again, you don't have that door bowed out, or this is nice, flat, and even. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Part 2 on repairing the cabinet door. So now that we got it glued, we got the glue on our corners like we talked about, leaving that channel free and clear for that free panel to be able to expand and contract. So now that we have this, we want to put it on a flat board. 3/4 inch plywood is what I'm using today. You don't want to use anything flimsy, anything like 1/4 inch. We want to have it solid, so the form of this board is also the form of the cabinet door. Everything is nice and flat and straight. So now we're going to take another board, put it on top. You notice here I have wax paper. So the joints are here and here. You gotta have wax paper or you will have that cabinet door glued to your plywood or whatever you're using. You don't want that. You want to keep it clean. You don't want to make 2 projects out of one. So little things, detail, take your time. Those are the important things that make the job go well. So I'm going to put this right here, wax paper, it's on a nice flat surface. Now you're going to take your second board, put your second board right on top of that. Take 4 clamps, and you're going to want to clamp that to make sure, through your cabinet door, to make sure that this seam, when you're starting to glue it and clamp it down, is not coming up on you. So you can always, it'll come one way or the other. So in order to keep that flat, that's why we use the boards. And we also clamp them down. Try to glue it with just the bar clamps on the sides. Then you have a real good chance of making sure that door is not flat when you put it back on your cabinet base. So you don't want to crank it down with the strength of God. You just want to kind of make sure it's nice and tight on there so it keeps the same uniform, all right? I can feel my seams opening a little bit. You can take that hammer here, nice little mallet, something soft. We're using a hide mallet so we don't put any dents or anything in the wood. But just kind of get it right back where you want it to be. Okay, you don't have to beat on it because again, we're going to be using bar clamps. We just want to make sure that everything that we have is in the right spot. So your ends are even. I'm feeling it the same way as the other side. Alright, that's perfect. That's even here on this side, and the edge is here. That way, it doesn't look weird me putting it on. So now we'll use our bar clamp. You want to make sure you always have a carpet, something soft, or you will dent the edges. This is cherry wood, extremely hard wood, but you want to make sure that you're not making a bigger mess than you need to. So putting this bar clamp on here, making sure there's carpet, making sure there's something soft, and then you just want to kind of bring it together. And then what you can see here is some wood glue squeezing. That's what you want to see. You want to see a squeeze. You don't want to see a mess. You just want to see it squeeze. So when you're squeezing it like that, you know that you have enough glue in there in order for it to do its job. Okay. There's one. So, see, this one doesn't have carpet, so we're going to use a rag, just a dry rag. As you can see here, it's even, it's tight, and you can even see the glue wanting to squeeze out here. So that's the proper way to do it. Looks like a big old porcupine, but then you got your wet damp rag, so you can kind of clean that excess glue off. Keep it ready for the next stage, which is the touch-up. No touch-up is the best touch-up when you're gluing it with the seams. Everything nice and tight the proper way, you're not going to have much touch up because everything is going back with a nice clean break right back in the same fibers. So really beneficial to take your time, really see what you're doing. And that's what you have. Thank you so much. Have a great day.